Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the ending of Chapter 12 of The Mandalorian, The Siege, with Giancarlo Esposito's tease as to what the ending meant. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. Greetings, Exalted Ones. Greetings to all you Jedi, Padawans, and younglings out there. This is Star Wars Coffee, keeping you up to date with all things Star Wars, especially the latest news and leaks from Star Wars, and of course, as always, giving you my analysis. Star Wars Coffee channel memberships are now live. Starting at just $1.99 a month, you can get exclusive commentary from me as we rewatch the Star Wars series together. I'd like to give a special shout out to Neon Victor, BSimms, Daniel, Richard, Reina, Michelle, and Meener. The ending of The Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 12 was pretty insane. The whole episode was originally thought to be a filler, where we would just expect Mando to go get his ship fixed, go do a mission with Greef Karga and Cara Dune, and then be on his way to go meet Ahsoka in the following week's episode. However, this episode actually entailed quite a bit of stuff that I certainly didn't expect, that I'm sure a lot of you didn't either. First of all, they tried to kind of bring in the sequel trilogy a bit with the cloning lab scene, and with that scene you started to see the beginnings of Snoke. And this was absolutely insane reveal. Snoke's theme was even playing as the music, as the score for that scene, which was also crazy because Greef Karga assumed that it was just an empty facility. That turned out not to be the case. And then we have, after Mando's ship was fixed, a creature on Navarro just tracked his ship, so now Moff Gideon is able to figure out where they are. Moff Gideon, clearly a determined gentleman to capture the child. Clearly very clever, very formidable opponent, and clearly values the power and the knowledge he now has of Din Djarin's location. So the actor who portrays Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, sat down with Entertainment Weekly to discuss some of the big things that happened in this episode. So one of the questions he was asked was the following. The show seems to be telling us Moff Gideon wants the child's midichlorians, perhaps to make his own line of Force-sensitive super soldiers? Can you say if that's the theory is in the galactic ballpark? So the question they're posing and referring to is the doctor who originally, was putting his tests on the child are trying to calculate his M count in order to create Snoke, and apparently a line of Force-sensitive super soldiers. So things like that, which in the canon could be Shadow Troopers or Dark Troopers, which aren't officially canon yet. Those are still from Legends, but by the look of them, they could be one of those two things. However, I'm sure for general audiences, Disney will decide to change the name and slightly tweak the name of it. I assume it'll be called Dark Troopers because he has the dark saber. So just in terms of general audience perspective, that would make the most sense and the easiest line to follow. Giancarlo Esposito replied to the question as to whether that theory is in the galactic ballpark by saying the following, quote, "Well, in the galactic ballpark, I think we're all trying to figure out what does he really want. Somewhere in my brain I hold out something and he has some kind of ethical consideration there. When people flow out of control and there are all these different Moffs who've been assigned to different areas to be wardens of, isn't there one person or someone that may have guidance over all of them? They're questions that aren't answered. It could be super soldiers. It could be that he wants to save the galaxy. Also, why does Moff Gideon know everything about what's going on everywhere? He has some kind of incredible intelligence source. I'm assuming he's referring to Palpatine. There. He continues, so I always hold out that there are many an altruistic reason that he is taking control or trying to. Certainly, the child represents the possibility of a new humanity and a new consciousness." Following that up, he said, "Fans noticed your armor this season has a breastplate not entirely unlike that of Darth Vader. What are your thoughts on that?" He responded, "I love making that connection. It's any adult man-child's dream come true to be equated in a certain way with Darth Vader. But I don't wear a helmet. I don't know what the storyline might bring up in regard to Moff Gideon's relationship to Darth Vader, but I certainly correlated one in my own brain. So a lot of teasing about these super soldiers, quote unquote, as EW refers to them. Clearly, these are supposed to be the top of the line stormtroopers. And we know that because Moff Gideon possesses the Darksaber. He's clearly the one running the show at the moment in terms of the storyline that we've seen thus far. I assume Palpatine and him have contact based on his answers here and just based on the fact that he has the Darksaber. He seems to be running the show, going after the child, extremely Force-sensitive being. And we expect this also because he's the one creating Snoke. And I highly doubt that Moff Gideon is unaware of this lab and of the Dr. Pershing, considering he's the one who performed the tests on the child that Moff Gideon wants. So there's a lot of stuff that could be going on here, and I assume we'll figure this out within a couple of weeks, a couple of episodes, because we only have 4 episodes left this season, which is absolutely insane to think that we've already had the first 4. So whether they end up teasing this like they did the end of Season 1 with the Darksaber itself remains to be seen. But I'm certainly intrigued, thinking that these are perhaps Force-sensitive type stormtroopers would be absolutely nuts. It doesn't seem like the test worked as well, but it seems that Moff Gideon certainly seems pleased and ready to go with something. So we'll have to wait and see, maybe this week, maybe in a couple of weeks, but we'll find out within 4 weeks nonetheless. Thank you guys for watching, may God bless you, and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it!
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.